you'll get visible after things totally calm down, right? Meanwhile, your calendar is feral, like a crazy cat, all over the place. Colors, you can't even remember what they are anymore. Your inbox is totally on fire. Yeah, you wish you could set fire to it. And later has been lying to you for years because you know what? The truth is, you are the best kept secret, my friend. You're busy doesn't equal visible. Hard work doesn't magically broadcast itself across the radio waves. Nope. That's why the Brew and Stew Media Spotlight exists. That's right. A collaboration between Nicole Borghi and Colleen Stubbs. One booking, two podcasts, no pitching, no chasing, no pretending you enjoy the outreach. We know you don't. Nobody does. You show up, you talk like the authority you already are. Your message gets heard on purpose to an aligned audience. Stop waiting. Stop hiding behind the busy button and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Busy, booked, exhausted. Your inbox is screaming at you like a siren. Your calendar is still feral. Still calling yourself visible and you're just the best kept secret? Turns out I was right there with you, my friend. Wasn't getting seen, was just the best kept secret. Wasn't getting heard, definitely, kind of getting paid. But here, the magic, my friend. It's a collaboration between Colleen Stubbs and Nicole Borghi. The Voice Lab on the school platform shows you how to use podcast spotlights, summit stages, and simplified, yeah, that's right, simple outreach systems so your visibility actually works. Get seen, get heard, join the free Voice Lab on the school platform, and you're going to get it all. Because if you're working this hard, someone else should know about it. Scan the QR code today.
Welcome to a world of unforgettable experiences and immersive marketing. Transform your events into extraordinary moments that captivate your audience. Whether it's corporate gatherings, product launches, or community celebrations, our immersive marketing solutions elevate your events to new heights. Immerse your attendees in a world of audio books and podcasts tailored to your brand. Engage their senses and leave a lasting impression. Explore the power of storytelling with our curated podcast content. From insightful discussions to entertaining narratives, we've got the perfect audio experience for your event. Ready to make your next event unforgettable? Scan the QR code now and book a complimentary immersive marketing call with our experts. Let's create memories together. Elevate your events with immersive marketing. Scan the code and let the magic begin.
Let's slow this down for a moment. Money feels overwhelming because no one ever really taught you how it works. When things feel confusing, it's natural to avoid them. That doesn't mean you've failed. You don't need to know everything. You just need to take the first step. That's what the consultation call is for. It's a calm, clear conversation where we look at where you are, where you want to go, and what steps actually make sense for you to build wealth. No pressure. No jargon. You're allowed to ask questions. You're allowed to feel unsure. And you're allowed to want a future that feels safe and secure. Schedule your consultation call. It's the first step toward achieving your dreams with someone who will walk you through it, one step at a time. Wealth with Valor. Clear guidance, steady progress, real peace of mind. Scan QR code to schedule your consultation with Valerie Smith. Let's take the first step together.
All right. Welcome back to the Voice Lab podcast. It's another terrific Tuesday. We've got great things in the house today. And don't forget to support those wonderful sponsors. We got Wealth with Valor going on, right? And if you're looking to do an event or create a space, get a little bit of notoriety, we got the Brew and Stew package for you. Good morning. I'm Nicole Borghi, and I'm with my cohort here, Colleen Stubbs. And The Voice Lab podcast. What is it, guys? Why are we doing this? It's really to fuel entrepreneurs how to stop overcomplicating marketing and use simplified systems and virtual stages to turn attention into authority and authority into income, right? Where visibility stops being accidental and starts working for you. How would you like it to start to work for you and really leverage that stage? And good morning. Who am I? Well, I'm Nicole Borghi. I am an event to scale visibility leader, and the people I work with are not followers. They're not just clients, they're leaders in their industry. And I show entrepreneurs how to leverage virtual events as a marketing machine. I build authority platforms, scale influence and revenue. What do I basically do? I do done for you, done with you summits, workshops, and podcasts. That's what moves the needle. And when you're escaping the greater corporate America, or corporate America has left you in the dust, it is time to evolve into using this as a marketing machine, because you can reuse all these videos, all these tools as your marketing machine. And we'll get into it a little bit more about some tips and tricks that we found that work well with Alex Hormozy. And Colleen, you want to share with everybody all your wonderful experience, who you are?
Well, only if I can find the unmute button. That's how it goes some days. Yeah, I'm Colleen Stubbs, the founder of Simplified CEO Systems, and I help entrepreneurs build a business and a life that they're madly passionate about. I do that by taking Go High Level and simplifying it, teaching my clients how to automate and delegate within their business. And when they do that, that really gives them the freedom to show up as the face and voice of their business, really put themselves out there, build relationships, and do it with confidence. Yeah, so I'm Colleen Stubbs, the founder of Simplified CEO Systems, and I am in collaborations with Nicole also on Voice Lab. Voice Lab is our school community where we teach entrepreneurs to get seen and get heard. And that is our big goal for 2026, is to really teach you how to find your voice, find the courage and the confidence to share your voice, share your business, because growth only happens when you're confident enough to share what you're doing with other people and you're doing it in a professional way. So Nicole provides the platforms for you to do that, as well as I do have a podcast you can also share on. That is Monday Morning Business Foreplay. But inside our school group, we go through the steps and the things that it takes to build confidence as an entrepreneur, to really know your messaging, get it down pat, deliver it confidently. And then on the back end, I help you to take the leads that you get when you're sharing your message, whether those are from social media platforms, from events, wherever those leads are coming in, how to take those leads and integrate them into your CRM. And when you do that, when you integrate them in your CRM, then you can build the relationships a lot easier. That relationship building can be automated. And so you're not spending hours a day doing it. I teach you how to do that and still do it in a personable way so that they're really getting to know you and your business, as well as you really getting to know your prospects, right? And so when you get those leads, to be able to put them into a nurture workflow on your CRM is hugely important to the success of your business.
Yep, it's automating, delegate it behind and in front of the scenes. You want to be everywhere and anywhere that you can. So today, what are we going to talk about today? I do have that here. So we're going to share stage outbound. Stop waiting for invitations. Are you waiting for invitations? Your visibility, what really boils down to, your visibility isn't converting, right? What is not converting? Nobody's inviting you to necessarily speak in a sense. And it's instead of that, what can you do? You know, that people may invite you on your stages, and just like an actor and actress, you have to try out for parts. You have to pay to be part of it. You have to hire a PR guy. You have to hire a marketer. You have to hire the firm. And a lot of people don't see that. What I know we find is talking as we do, not just during the podcast, but after, to say, hey, you know, there's so many parts and pieces involved. And if you think you're a solopreneur and you're just going to show up and be magical and wave a wand, that doesn't happen, Harry Potter. Sorry to say, but the truth is that there's a lot that goes on in the background, and you're not just going to be an overnight success. So the hard truth is really the biggest stages don't go to the necessarily to the most talented voices. It goes to the people who pitch. Are you getting out there? Are you talking to people? What are you doing? And what did we just do? We just pitched you. We just give our elevator pitch, right? We just gave our 30-second, 2-minute pitch out there. What do we do in our business? You should be doing that every day. We want to share our expertise, we want to share our experiences, and we want to share who we are so there's no question on what we do. We work together collaboratively on projects, and we also work separate, and we have our own businesses. So it's like, hey, what do we do that we can bring together to really leverage this and scale it up, not just in our business, but in other people's business? And why not share that? I'm going to show a clip in a minute. We're going to talk about outreach, the volume game, right? How to outreach and explain, not just pitching, but what you have to do really maneuvering and leveraging your social media platform. We're going to get a little bit more into some information. And Alex Hermosi, I got a video by a gentleman here that's talking about it. I'm going to look up his information. But you know, on this outreach thing, and you were just talking about that today. And this is a video by Prosp AI on YouTube. You guys, I'll put the links in the chat, or I can share that with you if you're interested in it. But why is this important? Because we need to have a playbook. So Colleen, what are you looking at today? I know you were talking about a few things that came forward for you on this.
Yeah, and so I want to lead with this. Here's the thing. You don't know until you know. And so for people who are hesitant to do outreach, I get it. I understand. I've been there. Nicole has also been there. And it's not for lack of liking to talk. We love to talk. But outreach sometimes just feels salesy. It feels cold. It feels uncomfortable. But the truth of the matter is, you don't know until you know. And so you have to get out there and you have to do it. You cannot adequately prepare yourself for the first time. The way that you can prepare yourself is to be professional, to be familiar with what you're doing, to know, like, and trust your own business and your own self to deliver that message confidently. Now you step up and you deliver. There are going to be mistakes. We can just go with that. There's going to be mistakes. There's always mistakes the first time. And guess what happens? After you take that first step, as unsteady as it is, the next time you're more prepared, right? And then the time after that, you're even more prepared. And so you have to take that first step. The very best way to be as prepared as possible is to be confident in your messaging, confident in yourself and your business. And so go over that, talk to people about it, practice in smaller groups before you do your outreach. That's fine. And then when you do your outreach, one of the things that really stood out to me is that it needs to be the perfect combination of maximum leads, maximum personalization, and maximum volume. And so this clip is huge. It was very eye-opening for me. And I think you guys are going to like it. I think you're going to enjoy watching this and really get some new concepts that you can grasp and implement right away.
Sure, and we're just going to do a few minutes, and you guys can look up more information yourselves and see that. So let me share this and get that going. There we go. That up there. There we go. And boom. Nope. I think it helps if I turn his volume up. Boop. There we go.
The Outreach Playbook for 2025. This is the exact playbook he used to grow his own business, acquisition.com, to $250 million, and the exact playbook he used to grow one of his portfolio companies from $0 to $100,000 per month within a single year. So, how does he do it? Well, I spent the last week breaking down his exact LinkedIn strategy so you don't have to. And I boiled it down to 6 key steps that you can copy and use to book hundreds of calls just using LinkedIn DMs. The first step is finding people to reach out to.
And there's 3 ways to build a list. You can scrape them, you can buy them, you can look for them.
So you can scrape them, buy them, and look for them. There's also a bit of a hidden strategy that we can use to find warm leads on LinkedIn that we'll come onto in just a minute. So first, scrape them. This is just searching for them using a software based on a given criteria. How to do this on LinkedIn? Well, you have 2 options. Either use free LinkedIn search, which works great, or use SalesNav if you need more advanced filters like company headcount and recent activity. Let's open up LinkedIn and see what this looks like. So you'll see I can search for a keyword up in the top left here, and then I can apply filters at the top like location, and then I can look at all filters to get more specific than that. And I can then look for things like the industry, and then you can see I have the job title as well to make sure that I'm hitting my exact ICP. Now, this is going to give you a big list of people that might be interested in buying your stuff. The other secret method we can leverage is LinkedIn.
You're muted, Nicole. Well, Nicole lost her volume. So when you're looking at that, one of the things that I love is that he takes you step by step on how to find those leads, how to really build out your ideal client audience. And the benefit of doing that, he touched on in the beginning, is that, yeah, you could scrape people. Yeah, you could go grab leads, paid leads, however you want to do that. But when you're doing those leads, one of the things he went into a little bit more in depth, a little bit further in, is that you can bet that when you use those two methods, those people have already been hit. Those leads have already been hit multiple times over, right? And so when you're using LinkedIn and you're going down and you're really isolating your ideal client list, that is a much better process for being able to do warm outreach, making cold outreach feel warm, right? Because you've narrowed it down to exactly who you want instead of just scraping or instead of paying for your outreach. Nicole, have you got your voice back?
Yeah, I think so. How's that? So
Excellent.
yeah. So should we go into it a little bit more into the second part of this? It's a few more seconds.
I would love to. I would love to.
Okay. But yeah, because it's a lot to break down. So I mean but it's a good share. So let's go in there.
Talks about why these are so powerful in this clip.
If you use a software that costs 99 bucks a month and you get unlimited leads on, lots of people have hit their leads. Probably. Doesn't mean you can't succeed, just means many people might have hit it, right? On the flip side, if you assemble the list from many different groups that you join manually, the likelihood that many people have solicited those people is far less. So you might have a far more responsive list.
Essentially, most people aren't doing this, so these leads aren't being contacted as much, which means they're more likely to respond. Now, he talks about the fact that this usually requires a lot of elbow grease or hard work, but using a software like Prosp, we can actually automate this entire process. The first thing to do is head to LinkedIn. Now, we need to actually find a group of people within our target audience.
So this is Prosp AI is where this came from. So this is about that on LinkedIn. You guys can get a little bit more into that. But if you're just doing this without the tool, so digging into the groups, I'm curious to see what you see on this. I know we've been going over a lot of sharing on podcast. We've had, Jeff Field was the last lady that was on there that was talking about LinkedIn and connections, but this gets much deeper into that. And some of these tools, it's not just the expense, but what works best, because you have to get into the expense. You have to teach yourself and train yourself how to do it. And then you have to go deeper because unfortunately, everything's pretty much DIY at this point.
Right. And so I just want to say too that as a business owner and an entrepreneur who's been building businesses for 37 years, I would never suggest that you start spending money you don't have, especially on tools. So my suggestion, just as a sideline here, is that you build up your business so that you have enough income coming in to cover tools if you're going to use tools. And so looking at this can be done. It doesn't have to be done in a paying way. You can do it without pain. It's a matter of building out the workflow so that you're able to reach people, right? And I do like the tools, and I'll probably utilize the tools, but I think that the main point is that you need to give away in order to utilize your maximum leads, right? And make it feel like warm outreach instead of cold outreach. There are a few things that you need to do. You need to use their name. You need to reference their business, and you need to reference maybe a recent post, right? The reason for this is that think about it. Everybody take a minute and just think about how many emails, DMs do you get that are so generic that you're just getting, and you know that you can't get them thrown away fast enough. Or if it's the first thing you get from somebody, right? And so get rid of those. Those are the ones we want to get rid of. But by golly, I got one yesterday, and I'm going to find that and read it a little bit later on. But seeing this video and listening to the reading the email I got yesterday, really, I can see the process of what they do. And I can see why I paused in the middle of my day and said, you know what, I can hop on a call with you right now. So the difference is the person that emailed me used my business name, referenced my posts, things like that, that made it personable to me. Why does that work? It works because people love to talk about themselves. They love to hear about themselves. They love to talk about themselves. And so when you're bringing it back around to them, not, I can do this for you. I have this. I have this. I can implement this. I can teach you how to do this. That's not the same as saying, hey, your post that said da 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 really spoke to me because this and this and this. And in my business, this is actually a service I offer, or something like that. Does that make sense?
That it makes a lot of sense because you want some type of connection. And I think for me, I know for me, that's the rough point. Which point is, hello, I hope you're doing well because I crafted something from Chat GPT and I don't speak your language necessarily, nor do I have any relativity in connection with you. There's no relative need, you're pitch slapping me off the back end, right? And the other thing is that when you're building relationships, understanding that this is business, so you want to talk about people's business but still getting onto that call. If you're stopping your day at that point, it's like, hey, okay, maybe there is some collaboration, but then that fine line of we can get on a call. How can we collaborate or can we move the needle further? Can we help each other? And that's the thing is it's a fine line. Like to me, it still sometimes gets a little bit like, it's still kind of pitchy, but you need to hone that to it's doing business. So the more I think I get into learning the difference of working it back to it is just business. And if we're working that we are all out there making money instead of trying to make friends. So coming back to that, I think has been a lot more of a healthier view where people want to be friends and then they want to back end and charge you money for it, right? So, and we've all had that. Oh, we're friends, we're talking around, and now you owe me $3,000 because I gave you great advice. Man, you could at least send me a t-shirt or something, from the trip. It was like,
Yeah,
wow.
that's funny. So, interestingly enough, I was in a conversation last week with a lady who said, why would you be friends with your clients? She said, what happens is then you can't sell to them. And I said, why would I not sell to my clients or my friends or my family? If I have a solution that I know that they need, I will absolutely sell to them. And she said, well, how's that working out for you? And I said, actually, I'm at about 80%. 80%
Wow.
of my clients I'm friends with. I'm friends
Wow.
with. And so it is working out. And this relationship building is where it's at. I want to read a little bit of this email that I received yesterday. It says, hi, Colleen. I was looking at your LinkedIn and love that Simplified CEO Systems, see how I mentioned my business, replaces patchwork tech with a done for you CRM and back office so midlife entrepreneurs can spend just a couple hours a week entering contacts while everything else runs on autopilot. Your track record of building and selling 8 businesses while raising a family makes that promise totally believable. That entire paragraph was all about me. It referenced my business by name and it referenced my post in concept. And then there's one sentence selling his product. And then there's one sentence after that that says, I will happily send you a $10 Starbucks gift card so we can both have a coffee together on this call.
I
And I'll
like
tell
that.
you what, that is so different than any other email I get.
Wow. It is really different. It's like, hey, I'm happy to share something with you. I'm happy to give something to you as well. And looking at that, I think that's a great way to go after people. I always put out there like, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you and your business, right? What you do. In that when I don't know somebody and I'm not familiar with their business. But that's probably somebody I met and just got to a little bit of a chat to. But it is different to say, hey, I really want to chat with you. I want to talk about you. I want to know a little bit more about that, and it can be different coming from different places. I know and it is going back to just business. So it's not, it's personable, it's personal, it's a little more persuasive, I think, on that level. And then you can order whatever you want or have coffee, not have coffee, but it's a fun approach to that where you're not getting too private, too
Right.
personal, too tiptoeing, and then you can have a good relationship. I find there's a lot of phone calls that I've had, especially this last year, where people want to ask me where I live, what I do, what's my cat, what's my favorite color. You might as well ask for my bra and my shoe size on top of it. And it's like, wait, I don't know you that well. If I wanted to put everything out on Facebook, that's fine. But let's open the conversation with context. And I think you do that well too, is talking to somebody and about something that you do that's more relatable so people can jump in the conversation if they want to answer that instead of forcing somebody into an investigation. And I've done that. You got to ask people why they were committing a crime. Why did you make me chase you? Why did I have to throw you down? Those are different questions. And I kind of feel sometimes like those are conversations that people want to have. Is there a pivot out of those conversations where you're still trying to relate to people without having to give them all your data?
Yeah, and I think that it's a real turn off to me when people ask where I live. I'm a little bit leery still of the whole online world. I don't trust everything I see at first catch. And so anybody that asks me where I live, I'm out. I'm out right there at that question. So I would say that's a big no, don't do that. But then if you look at the way that he crafted that email to me, the first paragraph was about me, my business, my post. One sentence that he confidently delivered about his business or service, followed by persuasion. Right. And so that's what I was saying at the beginning of this. When we're working inside Voice Lab, when Nicole and I are working inside Voice Lab with you, it is to help you get that one sentence confidently down so that you can get into these conversations, so you can open the door. And then, of course, Nicole has an amazing way of, as a summit host, of leading the conversation, of asking questions, of taking you where you're comfortable so that you can deliver your business in all of its beauty and brilliance on a stage. And so when you get, I think the first, I may be wrong, Nicole. I think the first summit I did with you, I told you I was not comfortable and I wanted it to be Q&A. And I think I even sent you the questions ahead of time that you were
You did.
prepared to ask me. I had the right answers for that kind of thing. And that really helped me build my confidence in delivering my message. And so that's what we want, is to help you get confident in delivering your message, whether it's through outreach, in an email, in a DM, in a voice message, or on stage. We want you to be confident in that message. And that gentleman that emailed me delivered his one-liner with confidence, and I responded to it. So those do work, right? And so that's super important. And I think that outreach is uncomfortable sometimes, but once you have confidence in your message, once you quit focusing on how do I look, how does it sound when I say this, and you turned it to, if I don't say this, how many people are missing out on the blessing of having the service I provide and they need?
100%.
That's a different, the focus is no longer on you, how you look, how your hair is parted, whether your grays are coming in, whatever that looks like, right? When you understand the value and you're confident in the value you're delivering, it's a game changer. And sometimes we don't just wake up confident, not in something like that, not in something that could appear salesy. And so you need Nicole to sit and ask you these questions and lead you through this. And that's why we do that. Now, back to our thing today, we're talking about pitching yourselves to summits. We're talking about building a converting speaker one sheet. What is that, Nicole? Let's dive into that.
Sure. So when you're talking about your speaker one sheet, it's pretty much your media kit. So if you're just starting out, you should have a media kit. When you get on a call, let's even talk about when you're pitching yourself as a speaker to a stage. So you're pitching yourself to get into a one-to-one call in the first place, right? And that guy did a marvelous pitch. Then you're pitching yourself to get on a stage. So I have 3 stages, right? We have the plot twist, a gathering coming up. So that's a summit for authors, speakers, people that launch their books that want to share publicity, or people that are looking to get their books published or get into an anthology. When you're doing that, you want to get into a call with somebody, or you want to get on a speaker call, or you do want to DM or email. Find out the best for the summit host, because you're coming in as the speaker. You haven't signed up, you haven't done the deal, you haven't signed up for a speaker agreement, you haven't paid anything to play, whether, if that it's a pay to play. You need to respect that of the host, and the host, you want to get in. So just think of it as you're a starlet and you want to get in with those moguls in Hollywood. You need to come to their event. You need to go into that casting line. You need to get your foot in the door. And then when you do get your foot in the door, you're mindful of whether they tell you to turn around, dance on your head, sing on a high note, or crawl around like a cat. It's up to you to just go into whatever they've asked for and be ready for that. If you start on a call with someone and you're filling out their survey to get on a phone call, remember, here's a hard truth. If somebody asks you for a hyperlink, don't assume they have it. Don't assume I have your email. Don't assume I have it at the ready for the call. First, why does it get asked for? When someone's when you're getting on a call, is because somebody like myself want to strategically plan that when I'm a call with you, everything's lined up and in one spot. That's all I got to do. I love to have it so everything's there. I can take lurk on your website, kind of cyber stalk you, get to know you on LinkedIn or Facebook or your website, get to know about you, what you talk about, and who you are, and are you a line speaker. So this is prep ahead of time. Then when you get on a call and we work out, everything's ready to go. Let's rock on the stage. Let's get on the stage. I'm ready to have you. Everything's exciting. Let's join the group. Let's reach out to everybody ready for that call, ready for those interviews. Everything's ready to go. You're going to want to have a media kit. And that media kit, and I use a site called Event Raptor, and it lists all your giveaways, your talk titles, your experience, your email contact, your phone number. Again, you're going to list it there. So why? Not just so I can find it, not just so my team, if somebody's working on an event with me, can find it, but also so the people in the audience can find it. So once you start with your media kit, that media kit can be a Google Doc and could be, here's a headshot. Here's a quick bio. It doesn't need to be a laundry list. I don't need every one of your certificates. I just need to have some information to refer to. And again, your social media links, an actual hyperlink. I shouldn't have to search for you. I love you, but you may not be the only Jane Smith in the whole wide world. I know you think you are, and we think we're all that wonderful, but you want to make sure that it is, again, listed. It can be just a simple Google Doc. Here's my bio. Here's my tagline. Here's top 3 to 5 questions that people normally ask me that I love to talk about. And your guest, hey host, we're not just getting on with a conversation. There needs to be some type of pattern. There needs to be some type of research. And you want your guests comfortable. You want them to stay an expert. Gotcha questions and ridiculous questions that they don't have the answer to, like, hey, I'm going to leave you with the last word of how many planets are there in the universe, which probably has nothing to do with your business. But if somebody's not at the ready for that, you're tricking your guest, and doesn't make you look good. You want to have some build up to that question. So if it's a question that you have great questions on Monday, Colleen, but those questions, they're not gotcha questions, they're thoughtful questions, but you also lead up to those questions so people are in that critical thinking pattern. You want to look good as a host. You don't look good if you're doing the gotcha thing. It's not politics. We're just talking entrepreneurship. So we want to have some relatability, again, going back to LinkedIn. And that speaker one sheet can be a one sheet. There, you could build it on Canva. You could build it on other places. Just look for speaker one sheets. It's got your headshot. It's got your links. It's got your talk titles. It's got all kinds of cool stuff. That's needed when you go into higher stages. So if you're a free speaker, if you tend to just kind of lurk around those free stages and you don't support those people, then you get into the pay to play. Those people that demand a speaker one sheet are asking for a check. So you need to have that at the ready. When you are starting to pay out, you need to be more professional, and you probably need to do more in the front end and get ready and prep for it, because it's going to be hot and ready and easy, and you're going to knock it out of the park. That's what you're looking at. So you should have a speaker one sheet. You should have a media kit at the ready. Look at what the host of the event is asking for, why, because then it turns into herding cats. And then you're wondering why you didn't get signups. You're wondering why people aren't in the room. You're wondering why when the host looks at your promotional link, that you brought nobody to the table. Heck, you didn't even sign up for the emails. So you're not being participatory. How participatory is everybody going to be for you? If you're showing up and shining, you have to participate. And people think they don't have to, whether they pay or don't have to pay. They feel they're entitled to that. And you're not a starlet. You're not bringing in $1 million. Nobody's making $1 million on you at this point. So it's a little bit of truth there. I know I'm more like, what was that talent guy that gets on there? I can't remember. I think his name is Simon, the one that really calls out the little starlets on that show. You know, is America's Got Talent, right?
Yep.
You know, he does say some stuff and people think he's rude, but you know what? If we start fresh and we start with those simple truths, and then we help show you the way and light that way for you, then we will all come back to business and we will all know what we're looking for. And then when that wonderful message comes through on LinkedIn, like you got, you're ready to pull the trigger and you know what you're looking for and you are ready.
And I'll just add to that as entrepreneurs, you should have a one page anyways. And so just a simple, and the reason that I try to teach this is because I'm all about simplifying things. When you can simplify your business, then you have more time and energy and you have more funds to build the life that you love, right? And so take your one page. If you don't have one, I'm going to challenge you to create one today. On your one page, just even as an entrepreneur, not saying as a speaker, but as an entrepreneur, create a one page. Have on it all of your social links. Have on it any lead magnets you have that you would give away. And then also have on it the main service you have, the three problems that it solves, that your service solves. Have that on there. And then what happens is when you go to get on a podcast, let's say, for instance, you go to get on Monday Morning Business Foreplay, which is my podcast. Let's say that you go to apply for that and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to fill out a form. Guess what? You can just pull your form up. You're not scrambling. You're not going 15 different directions looking for the information that's needed on the form because you already have it on your one page. Just pull your one page up, copy and paste each answer in there, and you're done. And then when you go on the podcast to speak, you also can have that pulled up so you have very handy your lead magnets to give away or your booking link or whatever that looks like. You can very easily drop it in the chat or get it to the host if they don't have it handy. And so these are important things to have. They're important just in your foundational business, as well as trying to get on summits, as well as trying to get in with people, is to come looking professional and looking prepared. And so it's a very simple form. I did mine on Google Docs. And then I have my headshot always saved under my logo with my logo there as well. And if you have a QR code, that's good place to put that as well. But then when I go to Event Raptor, I go to apply to be on Nicole Summit, same thing. I can pull that up. And I even have information on there about 3 different presentations that I do. And so I can look at those presentations and I can see which one fits Nicole's Summit, which one fits that audience. And I can pull the information right off of my one pager and put it directly into the Event Raptor form as I'm applying to be on a summit. And so that's the importance of doing that. And it's really something that you can refine. You can refine it in one day, and at the most over one weekend, you can refine it. And so to come into your business prepared gives you confidence that you need to succeed. You've got to come in prepared. You have to invest in yourself before you can expect anybody else to invest in you or invest in your business.
Yeah, you absolutely want to invest in you, and that's the setup. So just if you have that at the ready, if you actually give that even in the call you're getting on, when somebody sends you something and asks you to fill out that form, put everything in there with respect to that stage host, because you know why? Because that stage host is going to come back and give you tenfold in value. There are stages that I've had where speakers have made $15,000 in deals within a week of, you know, because they jumped on a call with somebody. They've gone out with $3,000 And the reason I say this about the money is there's money to be had on this stage. If you're paying for something and you do your due diligence, are you looking at, is there butts in seats or are people buying? What is it that you're doing? People are so busy being busy, they don't know what to show up to anymore. And we have to flip the script on connections. And so let's look at that. What that does bring me to today, and this is a great tie-in, I think, is because today we're hosting a master class with Daniel Andrews, and it's talking about relationship buildings. And the master class is called Stop Networking, Start Building Relationships. Why? Because you want to focus on your most valuable connections and referrals. And that's what we're talking about today. If you build great connections early on, even if it's just the form, even if it's a 15-minute call, even if it's 30 minutes on a stage, what are those relationships lasting? And are you looking at that? How many connections you made. And when you have your workflow, your emails, your DMs all together, you're continuously building. And are you pointing back from where that call came from? Maybe it came from being on a stage. Maybe it came from hosting a masterclass. Maybe it came from a great collaboration, which we do. This is what we're doing with Voice Lab. Not only Voice Lab, the podcast, but Voice Lab on the school platform. It's masterclasses to really simplify your business and to really flip the script and pivot on your relationship building. And that's what we're all about today. It's 3 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to share the links in here. And I think we're just hard reaching out. We're just throwing pitch slapping people. And then we get people in our groups or we collaborate with them. Let's not turn our backs on them. Let's truly honor them and not look for this next shiny object. If people are paying to be in your group, if they're paying for your services, don't leave them hanging. If they've made some type of connection, remember to go back to them. And yes,
And
share that. Go ahead.
Nicole, the thing is too, is that I'm glad that you brought up Daniel's class because I feel like there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are probably like, okay, yeah, I'm not getting on a stage. I don't need a one page. I'm not doing any podcast. I'm literally just doing networking. Well, let's talk about using your one page in networking then, right? So you are getting on one-on-one calls. And how does that position you? What if after every one-on-one call, you were the first person out of that call to send your one page as a follow-up? To just follow up, and this can be automated. To just follow up. So as soon as you get off that call, you go to your CRM, you click on your appointment, and you click attended or shown up, whatever that button looks like for you. Click that button, and when you do that, that triggers your workflow if you've implemented the workflow. And the workflow sends out an email that says, hey there, Nicole. It was so good to communicate with you today on our one-on-one call. I loved learning more about your business. I'm going to go ahead and include my one page here so you have all of my information. I would love it if you would respond with your one page so I also have your information. What does that do? It, number one, keeps you handy and top of mind for them. They have all your information. So if they want to refer you to somebody, they can just pull it off, the information they need off of there. If they want to refer you to somebody that wants to connect on Facebook, they can just pull that link off of there. If they want to refer you by email, they can pull that address right off of there, whatever that looks like, right? But it also puts you in a position where, hey, you are now seen as the expert and the authority because you acted first. You took the lead. You stepped up as a leader. You took the lead. You responded first to the one-on-one call. And that's huge. Now, what do you do with the one-pagers? Well, I tell you what, I have a folder on my favorites bar on my desktop that is one-pagers. One-pagers that I collect is in one folder, and then I have my one-pager also, so it's easy access for me. And so I can just pull those up. If I'm like, yeah, you know what, I met with somebody that meets this, that you really should know, I can pull up those one-pagers they've sent me and just grab the information off very easily. And so another super easy, super simple way to be able to just get out there, get seen and heard, and build your business.
Yeah, that I think that's great. And I'm just looking, I'm over here looking at the signups for today. So I'm excited about some of these people, and there's some new people in here as well. So I'm looking at the signups also into Zoom. We ask that just to keep clarity. I know there's sign up on LinkedIn and there's sign up in Zoom, but we had some signups coming from other places. So I wanted to make sure that we're doing that outreach. This is exciting because I do like that you're sharing their one page. I put on my Calendly that follow-up page has, everything about the group, where to find me, the group and everything. I don't know that I think the one sheet's great. It depends upon how you have it set up. But if you it as a link, I think that would be great. Like, hey, if you want to understand that this person is classy and they have this signature in here, I think that's huge to put in your signature. Where do you want people to go? How do you want people to see you? You have it set up. When I reach out to people and then connect them and refer them from a phone call to someone, and then build up a relationship in two different ways. So you want to have those touch points that there's something happening, not, hey, just thanks for getting on a call with me. Yay. What we talked about something. So if we're talking about several different things in the phone call, I already have it pre-set up that, hey, here's the group that I wanted to share with you. Here's the networking I wanted to share with you. And then we can connect again. So that's great to have. Where do you put your website? Your one sheet should definitely be on your website. And honestly, should be that can be a great place for you as well if you're sending people there. You want that clarity and confidence in how to connect with you. And I still see some websites and there's, people all over their website. You want to show on your website, you want people to see you. I did it with my fax page. I added my picture on there on the fax page so you remember what you're reading. How many emails are getting sent out these days and there's no logo? I know it messes it up and puts it in spam if there's a video because it was great to add video to that. It was fantastic to add video, but they screwed up with the spam issues and the fake spam law that they have, and everybody's panicking and everything's going into spam. That's a whole nother thing. Stop putting things in spam, just unsubscribe. And you can move it all and sweep it into your junk folder if you want, but it hurts the small business. I'm not IBM. I am not Apple products. So if you put me into spam, it punishes the small business. So let's start to think about what we're doing before we panic. But also remember that when you're sending something out, don't forget to put your logo on there. I want to know who the heck you are. Some people don't even have a website. I can't even click through it. I can't even buy a product. I can't even go anywhere. I don't know who the heck you are. I don't remember your name. I don't see you. I've got 100 emails coming through on the daily. I might not exactly remember who you are at 2 o'clock in the morning if I want to click through something. So let's remember, and this is what you're doing. You're advertising, you're soft selling, you're telling people about you, you're telling people you're professional. So remember to do that. You should always be selling. And it doesn't mean telling people, it means just sharing with them some items, right? You want that repeatability.
So, Nicole, I think a big take on today is number one, we need to be prepared and be professional. If we want to show up confidently, we need to make sure we have our one page ready. We need to make sure that we are confident in our message, our services that we're delivering, so that we can just really deliver that in a meaningful way that connects with our clients and touches on their pain points, right? And we need to understand that outreach is really a volume game. It doesn't have to be cold outreach, doesn't have to feel cold. It can actually feel warm, and there are ways to make it do that. So a quote I wanted to share in closing is, there's a pro tip. It's called personalization tech. The perfect combination for maximum leads is maximum personalization, which goes back to using their name, referencing their business name, referencing a post or some form of communication that they've put out, with maximum volume. And with tech, you don't always sacrifice personalization for scale. Every day, data becomes more accessible to find personal data. If you set up the tech to accomplish both personalization and volume, you create a deadly effective lead getting combo. So when you combine the tech that helps you personalize things, like the tool earlier, I think that was Prosp AI, and you're utilizing that, or even going through your LinkedIn and using your search bar and really fine tuning your ICA and creating a list off of that, when you're combining that personalization tech with volume, you're sending that out and you're really speaking to the person on a personal level. That ups your game. That takes the cold out of cold outreach and makes it warm, and that builds a stage for success.
Yeah, it absolutely does. All right, guys, this has been the Voice Lab podcast. We got some tips and tricks today, and we're glad to circle back and chat with you and help you out. So remember, when you're pitching yourself to summits, and that includes networking, always remember that you're ready to go with your speaker one sheet and that your outreach shouldn't feel desperate, and it should move the needle in your business. All right, guys, and join us on the Voice Lab on the school platform. Links are down below on YouTube, and they're everywhere on LinkedIn. When you find us and you see this live, or if you're replaying it, you can find it. Go into our profiles. Remember to follow, like, subscribe on all platforms, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Maybe.